All right, what's going on, everybody at the YouTube? My name is Austin. I am a aspiring mechanic, I guess you would say. So basically, uh, about to make a series here. Welcome to the garage. Pretty crazy packed. I own a construction company, so literally one half of the garage is all construction tools. So if it looks like I'm tripping over a lot of stuff, you'll know that that's why. Uh, let's see. Yeah, we'll get into more stuff and you'll learn more stuff as we go on. However, basically what the series is a it's a lot of ises. It's a an intro into the project that we are about to get started on. I've already kind of gotten started on it, but basically, a buddy of mine gave me a free snowmobile. It had been sitting outside of his house for quite some time, so it's a little worn down, but it was, of course, free. So I like free things, and it's my first ever sled. I don't know much about them. I just know that it'd be really cool to have. I've got a 2-year-old and an almost 1-year-old, so having them on a sled. I mean, I've got a dirt bike, a dirt bike and a street bike, which the street bike is going to be another series that we're going to start here in a couple of weeks. That's another rebuild. So also, if I look tired, it's because I am. This series has to happen literally at like 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, just because the kids are sleeping. So I've got them on the monitor there while I work on stuff here in the garage. So yeah, so I'm going to flip this around and we'll get you kind of a little bit of an insight onto what we've got. All right, here it is, the 1978 340B. I believe it's a Yamaha Exciter. As you can see, it is used and abused. Not much left on it. I mean, the intake's gone, so that needs to be just looking at it, like, you can tell that it's seen its days. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna pop the hood on this thing, kind of show you what's going on the inside here. Yeah. Yeah. So as you can see, it's got a sweet intake cover, which is literally the glove that I'm wearing, just not ribbed for anyone's pleasure. And then here we got the sweet oil fill, which I don't know about you guys, but I don't trust those. Same thing with like what a blaster has. It's called the auto lube, and I don't like that. So basically we'll just be dumping regular pre-mixed fuel in it. You'll get old Yamaha lube. But yeah, looks like brake pads and everything are good on the brakes. I mean, I just popped the spark plug out on this, and I'll take it back out so that way you guys can see it. But for this thing being a 78, it looked really good. So that gave me high hopes. But yeah, like, obviously this is just it's used and abused, and it's been sitting out in the rain and the cold and everything, so like this is gonna need to get fixed as well. There's a lot that I want to do to it just to clean it up, make it look really nice, like, you know, bend the bars back in place and just fix it. So yeah, basically it's gonna be a whole series on fixing and painting and doing all of that, hopefully before the weather comes. It is August 11th, so we got some work to put in, but we're gonna get started on cleaning the carburetor tonight. We'll check the spark plugs kind of once over everything. I don't have any Yamaha lube with me, so I'm gonna have to go to the motorsports shop, which I got to do that anyways because I've got a motocross race this weekend out at IMI. So basically I'm gonna work on this thing until the race, and we'll go from there. So we'll get started. So the other cool thing is that when I got the snowmobile, it came with all these sweet little goodies. So I got a few, looks like a few drive belts, 3 to be exact, yeah. I don't know if all of this goes to it. I would assume that that is the OG handlebar, dilly-mabob. Looks like the handle for the back. Radiator hose, which we won't need because it's air-cooled. And then it came with both of the shocks. Not sure if they even... Yeah, very much to those, so... Yeah. So, we got it torn apart. Well, I guess just the hood open. Duh. So, I'm going to pop one of these spark plugs out, and we're going to take a look at it. Alright, we got the first one out. This is the right side. I mean, shoot, for who knows when the last time I was running, but that really doesn't look terrible. I mean, it doesn't even look like it may have been fired. It's hard to say. Let me get the zoom in. So, that's good news. It definitely smells of old fuel, though. So, that's definitely a sign that it probably just hasn't been ran in a very, very long time. And just pulled off the left side, left cylinder. Looks to be about the same. Funny thing is that I just noticed about this plug is if you see what kind of a plug it is a B8ES. If I'm not mistaken, that should be the same plug that was in my Banshee. I honestly don't remember, and if you blow me up in the comments, it is what it is, but yeah, so left and right cylinders look good on spark plugs at least. So now we're gonna tear that little guy off of there and give it a good cleaning. Alright, so I'm gonna try and get this to where I can take it off with one hand and show you, but you can definitely tell that this thing hasn't seen fuel in quite some time. I took this off and oh yeah, she's crusty. Definitely gonna need a good carb cleaning. I'm glad that I didn't even try to fire this up because that would have just gone straight into the motor, and that's the last thing we want to do. But the inside looks good for the most part for what I can see. Of course, can't really see all that much, but I mean, it has really good compression. So I'm not super worried about it being like a bad motor. I think it just... I mean, it's a 78. It's just old. Needs a good cleaning. Good cleaning, good fuel, good spark. I guarantee this beauty will fire right up. So, I'm going to get this thing chopped off here and get the rest of the carb pulled apart. I'm going to stuff a rag in that hole so that way no creatures decide to barricade themselves in there. But yeah. We'll get that pulled apart and kind of show you as we go along and get this carb cleaned. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I finally got the the choke out of the carburetor, and that was fun. You'll see why. If you look down in there, it's kind of hard to see, of course, because it's dark. She's a little crusty in there. The entire thing is lovely, but I think I'll pop that jet off there, give that a good cleaning. See, it's a 150. I do have a jet kit, so that's awesome. Jet that'll actually fit that too. And then, yeah, one thing I noticed is that there was no fuel line hooked up to this anyways to begin with. So definitely gonna try and find where that fuel line is because there was no fuel line hooked up to it. But here, I'll turn on the brights. Yeah. I don't know where there's a fuel line, so I'm really like, after pulling this thing apart, I'm really thankful that I didn't try to even start it, because if I would have just dumped a half a gallon of fuel in there, it would have just probably gone straight to the ground, which would have been not ideal. Yeah, so I'm gonna get this cleaned up, find where the intake for the fuel line is, see if I can't rig something up for right now. I'm not gonna try and get it started tonight. Like I said, I don't have fuel for it, so I gotta run to the store, grab some Yamaha lube, but I can get everything else done before then. But all right, well, we'll get this cleaned up and check back in. All right, I'm gonna be honest. I didn't think this was like a possibility, but the needle, sorry, that probably didn't look great on camera. The needle on this thing looks absolutely fantastic. That way it'll zoom in, hopefully. Turn that off. Here we go. Find the focus. Not a crazy indentation of where the needle is. If you don't know what the needle is basically what sits on the float here that is on the bottom of your carburetor. So as your carburetor fills up with fluid, oh yeah, that's nice. As your carburetor fills up with fluid, that needle goes into this hole and closes it off, so that way, as it's fueling, it doesn't overload the bowl, which will flood your carb. So that's crazy that this needle, which I would assume is probably the original from '78, looks as great as it does. Of course, I can't get this thing. There we go. Let's see how close I can get it. Oh, nope. Anyways, so yeah, that's super exciting. I was like, oh, cool, I'm going to have to get a carb rebuild kit, which I'll end up doing for this thing anyways. I just want to get it running first to make sure that it's worth it before I go spending all this money on carb rebuild kit and clutch rebuild kit and freaking all the other stuff. But yeah, when I saw that, I was like, actually might be sitting in a good spot. So yeah, gonna continue to tear this thing apart, and if I find anything cool, I'll check back in. Alright, so got it back on, got it hooked up, got it stuffed with a rag just because it's going to probably sit like this for a couple days. I'm obviously just going to start it with no air filter because I'm sure I'm going to need a little spritz of starter fluid just to get this sucker up and running. But yeah, plugs look good, everything looks good. Yeah, nothing. So basically, it's where I think we're going to end it off for the night tonight. There's really not a whole lot I can do. I'm not going to start pulling plastics and polishing and painting and all of that fun stuff. So for now, I think we'll just close her on up and call it a night. I mean, it's already 11 o'clock. So yeah. This thing's going to be freaking sweet though. Because obviously once I get it running, I'm going to pull this cover off. Obviously like fix stuff like this. Strip it, sand it, paint it. You know, brush up this bumper. Definitely paint these a different color because the blue isn't going to match the theme that I'm going here. My race bike is blue and purple, but that is going to be changing. Don't mind the Honda, that's not mine. And this is also going to be changing. This is the other project that we're going to get started on here in the next couple of days. This thing actually drives. The person before me got it from a guy that was trying to use it as a stunt bike, and I don't know why, because it's a shaft driven 1300, and it's got the cojones for it, but like it needs new fork seals on both sides. As you can see, it's leaking all over the place. Creates a nice puddle in the garage every time I leave it anywhere. And yeah, I mean, other than like dented pipe, I did replace this. I wish I would have filmed it because the old tank had an insurmountable amount of rust to where like there wasn't even any point in trying to clean it. So like that, I'm gonna sand all of that down, repaint it. I'm gonna go with black on everything, black and gold, literally everything, including the snowmobile and my race bike. So yeah, obviously that's not going to fit the theme of the builds, so I am going to be sanding that down, painting it, new seat or seat cover. I haven't decided whether I'm going to I think I'll probably just end up taking it to a reupholstery shop, getting that redone. But yeah, that's going to do it for tonight. I appreciate it. Appreciate the checking in and checking it out. And if you're interested, stay tuned. I'm going to try and come out with one of these things at least once a week. It's just going to depend on life. Yeah, with 2 children, a wife, and racing, and my son races bikes. One of my sons races bikes, the other one can't walk yet. But we have a lot going on all the time, so this is going to be kind of my filler in between whenever I get a chance. So like I said, I'm going to try and come out with one of these at least once a week, but if I don't, that's why. So other than that, if you have any ideas for the build or have any tips, tricks, or any questions, feel free to leave a comment. Make sure that you hit that like and subscribe if you do like the video. Otherwise, stay tuned, and we're going to make something kind of cool out of this old hog. Other than that, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate the support, and we'll talk to y'all later.